Hello everyone, I'm your teacher Bhandari ma'am and we will start with the lecture number 5 for the subject data structure using C today. So here in this lecture we have to learn the best case, average case, worst case analysis of algorithms and the big O notation. These are the two major things which we have to learn in this lecture. Before that, we must have to know the prerequisites like algorithmic complexity and the growth rate of the algorithm. So before proceeding for this lecture number 5, we will just prepare or revise our prerequisites of algorithmic complexity, or you can say the performance analysis of the algorithm. I will just show you in detail. Okay. So the performance analysis of the algorithm we have to learn. So performance analysis is done on the basis of two things, the space complexity and the time complexity. So first, what is space complexity? Space complexity is the required space to execute that algorithm. The amount of space required by that algorithm to execute completely. Okay, so for example, here I have taken three variables, integer a, b, c. These are the three integer variables. So if there are three integers, so the size of three integer is fixed. So if it is 64-bit processor, the size is of 12 bits. Total three integers are there. One integer carries 4 bytes. So total of 12 bytes are required for three integers. So this size is fixed, and so that the space complexity of this particular algorithm, in which we have taken only three variables, that is constant. Okay. In the next one, I have taken integer a of n. So this is the array of size n. So that n is unknown to us. Okay, here we have to take the size of array n through user. So user will enter the size of array, that is n. So at the time of execution we will get to know the total space required. Before that we don't know how much size is required by that algorithm. So what user enters, depending on that, the size space complexity will be defined. So if it enters 1, that means 1 into 4, it requires 4 bytes. If the n is equal to 2, it requires 8 bytes. If n is equal to 3, it requires 12 bytes. If n is equal to 4, it requires 16 bytes. If n is equal to 5, it requires 20 bytes. Okay. Like that, the space complexity or the space required by the algorithm increases with the increase of the number of elements we entered by using the array. So the space complexity increases linearly here. Why? Because 1 it's 4. If 2 elements are there, it is 8. If 3 elements are there, it is 12. So it linearly increasing depending on the size of the input which is provided by the user. So here the space complexity is linear, you can say. Okay. Now for time complexity, so look at this. This is the example number 1. Here I have just written one statement, a is equal to 10. So this is a simple assignment statement. You can call it as assignment statement. And this, for this assignment statement, you can say the time required. What is time complexity? It is the time required to amount of time required to complete that execution of that algorithm. Okay, so if this is a single statement here, so that single statement requires 1 unit of time to complete. So that unit or the exact time we cannot predict. It depends on the processor speed. So when a is equal to 10, it is a simple assignment statement, and for that you require 1 unit of time of the processor to complete. So for this a is equal to 10, you can say this is the 1 unit of time is required to complete its execution. In the second example, I have taken two simple statements, a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. Again, each statement carries 1 unit of time. Okay, so total 2 units of time is required to execute these two statements only. Okay, next statement is this. Here sum is equal to 0, which is already defined, and next one is the looping statement. For I is equal to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, sum is equal to sum plus I. So if this statement will execute, for sum is equal to 0, it is assignment statement, it requires 1 unit of time. This statement for I is equal to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, it will execute n plus 1 number of time. And the next statement, sum equal to sum plus I, which is inside this looping statement, it executes n number of time. Why it is execute n number of time? If we say I is equal to 0 to I is less than 5, then this statement will execute 5 number of times. If you know the basic concept of looping statement, you know why it is n and why it is n plus 1. Okay, so here sum is equal to 0, it is a simple assignment statement, it takes 1 unit of time. This for statement requires n plus 1 number of times it will execute. It always have to assign the value, initialization is there, then increment is there, and then this condition we have to check all the time. So n plus 1 number of time this particular statement will execute. And the last statement, sum equal to sum plus I, will execute n number of time because it is inside the loop. Okay, so when we calculate the time complexity, okay, if you say this is only statement in the program or the algorithm, so it requires 1 unit of time. Okay, if only these two statements are there, it requires 2 units of time. Total time complexity is say 2 unit of time. Here the time complexity is the combination of all these, so it is 1, the total time complexity is 1 plus n plus 1 plus n, so it is totally 2n plus 2 is the time complexity. Okay, next one, when you say this is the next statement, it is the 2 looping statements are there. For I is equal to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, and for j equal to 0, j is less than n, j plus plus. Again this statement will execute n plus 1 number of times. All these statement will execute n number of time. Here again this statement will execute n plus 1 number of time, and this statement will execute n number of time. Okay, so here how to calculate the time complexity is n plus 1 plus this n multiplied by n plus 1 plus n. Okay, so it is n plus 1 plus n square plus n plus n square, that is it is totally 2n square plus 2n plus 1. Okay, here the time complexity will be like this. So when we go through all this time complexity, you can say that these simple statements require a constant time complexity 1, 2 and all these things. If the looping statement is there, you require the time complexity like 2n plus 2. So here n is very important. The constant we are not taking it take it casually, that just the major focus is on this n. Okay, so your time complexity increases with n, the value of n. Okay, in the second thing, here there are 2 looping statements are there, and the time complexity is because of this n square. It depends on this n square. So whenever you are writing any of the algorithm and finding out the time complexity of the algorithm, you have to find out the major thing which provides you the time complexity of the algorithm. So this n plus 1, n square, these are the major things on which your time complexity of your algorithm depends. So this n square, like these things are there, it is called as the growth function. Depending on these values, the time complexity changes majorly. So these are called as the growth function for that algorithm. Okay, again see, this is a simple statement, it requires only 1 unit of time. These are the 2 simple statements, it requires 2 units of time. Here when there is a looping statement is there, the time complexity depends majorly on the basis of this n. Okay, Here there are two looping statements, so majorly time complexity depends on the value of this n square. So depending on that value, it is called as the growth function. Okay, so on the basis of which the time complexity increases, it depends on that growth function, and we have to use that growth function to calculate the time complexity. Okay, so again we will go to our lecture number 5. So we have to know what is algorithmic complexity. We know what is algorithmic complexity. There are two types of complexities: space complexity and time complexity. We have completed the algorithmic complexity concept and the growth rate also, or you can say the growth function. And we have to learn these three things now: best case, average case, worst case complexity, and big O notation. Okay, so what is growth rate? Now an algorithm's proportional time requirement is known as growth rate. This is the definition. An algorithm's proportional time requirement is known as the growth rate. We can compare the efficiency of two algorithms by comparing their growth rate. Now we have to find out which algorithm is better between the two. So we have to compare the efficiency of two algorithms by comparing their growth rate. Okay, what to analyze? Now an algorithm can require different times to solve different problems of the same size. So now basically we have to learn this worst case, best case, and average case complexity. So here uh, up till now we have seen just how to calculate the time complexity. Okay, it depends on n and n plus 1 and all these things. But when we actually find out the time complexity of the algorithm, in that also there are different cases depending on the input. Okay, it depends on the input. I will give you one example here. Okay, so what is worst case analysis or worst case complexity? The maximum amount of time that an algorithm required to solve a problem of size n. It is the maximum time which we require to solve that algorithm. Okay, just take an example of searching an element in the list. For both the all the three complexities, that is worst case, best case, and average case, we are taking this same example. We are searching an element from the given list. So list is given and we have to just search an element. Now if we want to search the element 11, look at this example. Okay, elements are given, the given list is there: 18, 65, 22, 38, 51. All these elements are given, and from that we have to search for the element 11. So normally what is the criteria? We will go through each and every element of the array and we are going to compare it with the 11. So starting with 18, we are comparing the element 11 with all the elements. When it matches, we have to stop the search. But if you see this list, the 11 number is not matching to anyone. That means 11 is not present in the list. So what here we have to do? We have to compare 11 with all the elements in the list. Okay. So how many times your loop will continue? Up till all the elements are get searched. Okay. Sorry. So 11 is not present in the list. So you have to completely verify that list for the number 11. We have to completely search that list for the number 11 because 11 number is not present. So the total number of operations we have to perform is say 11, the total number of elements into the list. So 11 times we have to search the element, we have to compare, and then we have to predict the answer. But if it is not there, lastly we have to say that the number is not present in the list. So we have to completely search the list, and this is the worst case analysis. The number is not present and we have to search the element throughout the list. We have to completely verify that list. We have to completely go through the entire list, and lastly we have to predict that no, the element is not present. So this is the worst case analysis. Okay, we'll just go to the best case analysis, so you will get very better idea about what is best case and worst case. Okay, now the best case analysis: the minimum amount of time that an algorithm is required to solve a problem of size n. Okay, this is a very minimum amount. So why it is minimum? You can just go through this. Again, we are searching the element in the list. Now the list is same. The element is 18. So where we are finding out the element? When we are going through the list, we will find out the element 18 at the first. Okay, we don't have to go through the entire list then. We have to search the element 18. When we are starting with the array, the first element is 18. So we will got that number at the first attempt and we will not go through the entire list after that. So we don't have to go through all the 10, 11 elements after that 18. Okay, so your best case analysis in that, you have to search only one element. Okay, we are searching only one element at the first, we will got that element and we have to stop the search. So because of that, this is the best case analysis. Okay, in the worst case you have to search entire list and after that also the element is not present, or at the in the second example you can say that if the element is the last one, then also you have to search the entire list. Okay, in both the cases it is the worst case analysis. That means it will take maximum time, maximum number of operations we have to perform to find out the element to be searched. Here in best case, the element we got at the first attempt, so we don't have to go through entire list, and because of that this is the best case analysis. Third one is the average case. Now you know what is best case and what is the worst case. So you know what is average case analysis. It requires average amount of time that an algorithm is required to solve the problem of size n. Again the list is same, but now we have to find out the element 72, which is in between, in the middle. The when we find out the element 72, it is in the middle. So we have to at least search half elements of the list. So it is not best, not the worst. So it is the average case analysis. Okay, so these are the three analysis techniques. Depending on the input provided, we have to categorize this analysis: best case, worst case, or the average case. Now to predict or to represent that complexities, we require some notations. Okay, these are called as asymptotic notations. Asymptotic notations are used to represent the complexities of algorithms for asymptotic analysis. These notations are mathematical tools to represent the complexities. There are three notations that are commonly used. Normally, when we want to represent that complexity, we are not finding out the exact time complexity of the algorithm. Okay, I already told you that for constant or for n+1, we are not considering the 1 majorly, because that 1 contains number of things, number of statements are there in your program which takes only 1 unit of time. So that are minimum, or you can say we can take it as miscellaneous. Okay, we have to focus majorly on the things which are on which the time requirement is more. Time complexity gets more because of some growth rate. Okay, so we have to focus on that growth rate, and to represent that time complexity we require some notations, and these are called as asymptotic notations. So three types of notations there are. So first one is the big O notation. It is an asymptotic notation for the worst case. When we are calculating the complexity of the algorithm, for worst case it is big O notation. For the best case it is omega notation, and for the average case it is theta notations. Generally we are using only the big O notations. We are calculating the worst case complexity for all the algorithms. So normally we are using the big O notation. Okay, so what is big O notation? If algorithm A requires time proportional to f of n means number of functions in the n, algorithm A is said to be order of f of n and is denoted as O of f of n, that is big O of function of n. The function f of n is called as algorithm's growth rate function. So depending on the number of growth rates or the growth rate function, your time complexity increases or decreases. So if you want to calculate the total time complexity of the algorithm, we have to calculate as a worst case complexity, and when we want to calculate the worst case complexity, we have to use the big O notation. Since the capital O is used in the notation, this notation is called as big O notation. So these are some examples how to calculate the time complexity. I have taken some examples already. So just overlook this. This is a simple program in that the time complexity of the above given program is O of 3. Why it is O of 3? There are only 3 basic statements are there. Which are those? A is equal to 4, B is equal to 6, C is equal to A plus B. These are the only 3 important statements which takes 1 unit of time, and so that the time complexity of the above program is big O of 3, as this program consists of only assignment arithmetic operations and all those will be executed only once. Simple statements are there, 3 statements are there, so time complexity is big O of 3. We'll take the second example. Now here the integer count is a function, array is given and integer n is there. So we have to use the looping statement here. So sum is equal to 0 and I, 2 variables are declared. Then the looping statement is there, control statement, I is equal to 0, I is less than n I plus plus, and depending on that sum is increased, sum is equal to sum plus array of I, and we have to return the sum. Now this is the second example. In this code, a control statement which executes for n times along with operations like assignment, arithmetic and a return statement. Hence the time complexity is O of n plus 3. Look at this. 3 assignment statements are there. This is 1, sum equal to sum plus array of I. Integer sum is equal to, this is second, and for I is equal to 0, this is the third statement. So the time complexity is big O of n plus 1. Now for larger values of n, the constant values become negligible. Why I am saying that you have to remove, or it is a miscellaneous things, because when the values of n are larger, the constant values become negligible. So if a program consists of a control statement, then the complexities of assignment, arithmetic, logic and return statements can be ignored. Hence, the final time complexity of the above given snippet is O of n. To just ignore the 3, it is the time complexity of the algorithm is big O of n only when there is a looping statement. Now this is the second example in which there are 2 loops are there. So here in the code, the first and second for loops get executed n number of times individually. So the time complexity accounts n multiplied by n. Okay, we have seen that when there are nested loop statement, the time complexity or the growth rate is n square. So same we have to take, and the time complexity counts big O of n square. Now this is a next example, example number 4. Here this example is quite complicated. When we learn the binary search technique, in that case you will learn how to calculate this complexity. So when you are when we are counting the elements, okay, when we are searching for the elements in some type of algorithm, we are starting with the large numbers, okay, and then we have to divide the elements into the half. If in that case, okay, the time complexity is the function of log of n. Here you can take the example. This is while low is less than equal to high, we have to change the mid and we have to halfly distribute the array into 2 parts. Okay, this is the technique called as binary search. This is the algorithm for binary search, in which what will happen, we have to write down the elements in a ascending order. Then if you want to search the element, we have to divide the list into 2 parts, and then we have to search the elements in 1 part only. Again, if the element is less than or greater than the middle, again we have to divide the list, and for each step we have to divide the list into half. Okay, if there are 10 elements, then we have to divide it into 5 and 5. Then we have to search only for 5 elements. Again we have to find out the middle. Again we have to find out the element will be we have to compare the element with the middle element. If it is not, then again we have to divide the list into two parts. Like that we have to divide the list into parts, and up to the one element we have to search the list. Okay, so we are dividing the list one by one, and at every step we are dividing the list. Okay, so in that case the time complexity is the function of log of n. So I will more explain you when we are learning this binary search in the next chapter. For today, this is the algorithm of binary search. It breaks the given set of elements into two halves and then searches for a particular element. Further, it keeps dividing these two halves into further half until each individual element is a set. Okay, so all such algorithms which work on the principle of recursive division of elements, we are dividing the elements at every recursion. Okay, so all such algorithm which works on the principle of recursive division of elements into halves will have a log of n, O of log of n complexity. It is a big O of log of n complexity. When we are dividing the list into parts, then that particular algorithm requires the time complexity of big O of log of n. Okay. Just is the overview of time complexity details. When we require it is O of n, it is a constant time complexity. When it is O of n, it is a linear time complexity, normally in the loops. Okay, when it is O of log of n, it is a logarithmic time complexity. It occurs when at each subsequent step in the algorithm, the time is decreased at a magnitude inversely proportional to n. When it is n log of n, it is a linear arithmetic time complexity. There are some examples we have to learn: quick sort, heap sort, merge sort, which requires the time complexity of n into log of n. So we are dividing it but into the loop. So n multiplied by log of n complexity is required for that. And O of n square, it is a quadratic time complexity for nested looping statement. Okay, so again revise the points to be remembered. First one is the complexity. We have to find out the algorithmic complexity. It depends on the two things, space and time. Majorly we have to focus on time complexity. Time complexity count by significant operations and expressed by the growth rate. Growth rate depend on the input. On the basis of that growth rate and also what input which is provided, there are three types of complexities: best case, average case and worst case. Worst case commonly used and denoted by big O notation, which we are commonly used in our programs. Okay, so these are some practice questions. What is complexity of an algorithm? Try to find out the complexity of different algorithm. So here what you have to find out? You have to find out the complexity of different algorithm which we have learned till now. Okay, so these are the questions you have to solve. You can find out the complexity of any of the 2 to 3 algorithms for the practice questions. Okay, thank you.